Ken McCann.
I lock and seal my aura, only positive energies may enter. I lock and seal my aura, only positive energies may enter. I lock and seal my aura, only positive energies may enter. All negative energies and forces are now dispelled and shall never return. All negative energies and forces are now dispelled and shall never return. All negative energies and forces are now dispelled and shall never return. Okay.
Greetings. Welcome to Wake the Dead. Today, we're going to have lots of fun. We are joined by our good friend, Dr. Hans Utter. Welcome, Hans.
Hey, Sean. Great to be here.
You're always so mellow when we say hi. Yeah. It's, well, you have your no stress protocol, and that's in full effect. I'm glad that you're here today. So we will be revisiting a topic that we have talked about many occasions on Wake the Dead, and it's been like we keep going back to it over and over again, and that is the Qliphoth. And I've been spelling it different ways, and there's different ways to spell it. You spell it with the K, and I've been using the Q because that relates to the magic stuff. And people spell Kabbalah differently too, with a Q and a K. And so anyway, besides that, we've been getting, so people can look back, and some of the episodes are labeled with a Q and some of them are with a K. But we've been talking about this like worldwide magic working to put all of our consciousness down the tree of death, further separating us from the oneness of the Creator, the opposite of the tree of life. It's mirrored. Its mirrored opposite is the tree of death, and there's many trees we've gone through. It's very deep and intricate and confusing. Some of the episodes are just fun. They're a lot of fun, and we love talking about this with you. And so we've been kind of tying this conversation to the events that are happening in real time. And we were talking about how the Notre Dame Cathedral was burned and the lead roof was destroyed, and they cut the heads off the statues. I mean, we were getting into these are evidence of ritual magic, displaying it to the public. And we know that they have that mens rea, like they have this law where they have to speak what they intend before the event, so it's like we are witnessing their speaking of these what's happening through the symbolism, and we're tracking it and you are applying it to the nodes on this tree. The broken shells, they're not Sephiroth. They are husks or broken shells, I guess. You know the terminology better than I do, but I will stop speaking soon enough. But so this has been one of the topics that is very interesting to me, and I'm delighted to have you here again. And these times today are way worse than they were when we started here, and I see that as evidence of the magic working is in effect. We are traveling down this tree, and you've just found more and more evidence. So here we are again. Welcome, Hans.
Oh, thanks, Sean. Yeah, it's great to be here, man. And hey, I just to open up, I just sent you a file. Did you get that?
I am downloading it now.
Yeah, so this is a 1933 ritual. Yeah, and just I do have my new podcast, The Resonant State. I want one more viewer on YouTube. I want to break the double digits, but not to be whatever. I mean, I'm
That's
right now.
Great. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm sorry I didn't mention it at first.
Yeah,
yes.
But I would really appreciate even a small donation. I'm trying to break the single digits with my revenue stream. I'm going to break those. I'm going to get in that single digit. I'm going to do it. No. But it's not that, obviously I got obviously a lot of stuff going on, and I really want to be able to, commit more time and do this stuff. It's just like I would definitely like support, even though it sounds like I'm not Charlie Kirk, man. I don't have any billionaire backers behind me. I just gotta.
Yeah.
I
You
gotta
actually had your garage just burned down. I mean,
my garage burned down. My PayPal got deleted. And and it's still not back. I set up a new PayPal with a different email, but my PayPal, and then I called them up. They said it was a backroom decision. And then they said, yeah, backroom decision. And they said within 7 to 10 days, don't open your account. We'll get back with you. We'll get it back. It's been a lot longer than 7 to 10 days. And then I was up to like 50,000 listens on my Spreaker radio show. And that also got deep six, just deleted. Just like everything I had on there, it's just in the, in the Astro world. It's gone.
Astro world.
So
right.
I mean, it's not that I want to like, you always see these people, man, they're after me, man. They're trying to get me.
But it is a struggle for. I mean, you're speaking the truth. You're saying things that are important, and you're not going along with the program that they want online all the time. You're not saying what they want you to say, so of course they're going to smush you down. And you've already been online for a long time. Like this show is new, but I mean, you've been posting and talking, been on with Jan Irvin. You were there 15 years ago. I mean, talking about stuff. So if it maybe more, I don't even know exactly how long it's, but so you are on their radar, I'm sure, and so it's probably very hard for you, but get you a Bitcoin address and get.
I do have that. I have a Bitcoin address too. Finding the link, I'll get that button. So yeah, I'm just looking. It's like you get the restaurant, you got that first dollar. Like I got $1 because my wife is like, okay, so how much money are you making?
Right.
Don't worry, I'm gonna do it. But anyways, we'll drop that. Not to harp on that, but so this the time, this particular configuration of many, many thousands of years that is sort of reaching a culmination point right now. And there's certain timelines that have been generated. I don't think those timelines are necessarily going according to plan, but we really are we're at a very weird juncture point, especially with the rise of technology, especially with, I would say, the overall very bad psychological destabilization of many people. There is, as I mentioned in the show we did with William, is that there's been 300 something mass shootings this year so far. There just was another big one at the golf course a couple days ago. There was like 4 or 5 in Ohio. I never heard anything about these on the news, right? So these are going on. They're not being publicized. And another, I had my car, someone broke smashed the window of my car, broke into my car too. So yeah, see, man. I can't get stressed.
I know you're not allowed.
I know. I mean, literally, I literally I told this. It was on a different show, but I was doing this music festival. And it was a few months ago in the summer, and I'm walking out the door. So I play sitar. You get this big callus. I closed the door. It hit some fault line. The entire top of my finger just popped off. It was just raw flesh. And we're talking not like a cut, like blood just pouring all the way down my arm. And yeah, I felt dizzy. And my wife's like, what do you know? She's like, she hates blood. What are you going to do? I said, you know what? If I can play, I'll play. And I go to the concert. My hand is wrapped in literally a bloody bathroom towel. And then they wouldn't let me park. And then I get to the venue and then they're like, where's the medic? Oh, go this side. It's a huge festival. I walk, there's nothing there. And then I think that guy drives me around here. It's right there. There's nothing there. Finally, after 1 hour, I get to the medic tent, which is in the wrong location on the map. And then I go and I played and I still did the show somehow, even though, you
are thwarting the demon's plans. They're trying to stop all your actions and all your artwork. You're making it anyway.
No, and I'm not, it sounds like a joke, but I mean, literally, like, whenever and you were there in the beginning when I started it literally, like, I even, like, we had this huge event. It was an amazing success. Our festival came off great, but we had, it's a huge, infrastructure scope. And like the day before the event, we had sold like 30 tickets. And we're like, I'm like, well, are you ready to, let's learn how to make a thatched hut, by the river, I don't, but we ended up selling, a couple hundred tickets. We had people from 11 different states came out here to Columbus, Ohio to attend our festival. And it was a huge, super success. It was amazing. But, all these things, the thing is that the stress, I mean, this is something that has been programmed, conditioned into us societally that is absolutely unnecessary. It is a violation of, the biological functioning that has been, but it's been programmed into us. And in fact, that whole, I mean, many people, they say they're crippled by stress, anxiety, worry, right? I mean, it's crippling. The thing is that it's not really an emotion. It's a biological survival response that's being, like we talked about that doom scrolling show, right? I mean, you are, if you can do it, like, and so these things, we can't unwind these. Now, there's also, the thing is that, you got the file, right? I can stop sharing.
Yeah. Here, wait. You want me to go to that? Here, I'll go to the share here, and this is the one from 33.
Yeah, we'll hit that in a second. I'll just,
Okay.
Yeah, but what all I'm saying is that that, like, it is possible, and Sean makes fun of me about it, hiding the bathtub. But no, I mean, I just made a decision. I said, you know what, I will not, because it wasn't that I was like stressed all the time. I used stress to get my work done, right? I was fueling myself. I had integrated that into my lifestyle, and also there's a that's weird. Okay, that's okay. There's some weird but it integrated into my lifestyle, and it's normal. People at the office, oh, I'm stressed. I got to do this. I got to do that. Well, yeah, I'm important because I'm stressed, or you need the adrenaline. You can't function. You don't have any motivation without stress, right? I did a radical intervention, as I told you. It's like, so I did, yeah, my productivity went down to about 5% because I was like, pretty much it. But now I'm back up, and literally almost any circumstance, I don't, I mean, even there's stuff that is technically, it is stressful. I mean, but I convert it to adrenaline, convert it to excitement. You learn how to do that because you don't want that cortisol chemical in your brain. But that's an example of, we do have a lot of leeway and power potentially. But the other thing is that there are, I guess I could be more esoteric on your show. But this stuff, the thing is that there's a lot of like new agey, this and that. Well, you know what? In reality, a lot of these things do exist. There are, just because you can't see it doesn't mean that there's not levels and layers of forces and other types of energies, whether they're collective energies, whether they're electronically directed. I mean, what do you think frequency, ultra low frequency mood modification, right? You can create a crowd. You can get people to riot, symbolic programming, symbolic hypnosis, any kind of these things. These create aggregate collective forces. And also, though, people, this is, what Crowley had something. He's like, well, you want to go in an altered state, stop saying I. And every time you say I, you like cut yourself. I, and then you stop doing it. So I'm trying not to talk about too many like personal, like actual situations, but I'll do it again. I don't have my knife. So, but basically, we finished this event. Everything went great. It was, smashing success. And, it was the first time in North America. I mean, it was a big deal. We had, people, I mean, I was doing this panel, and one of the ladies stands up. I was director of United Nations Human Development for South Asia. And she was in our show, and she came out from DC to attend our little thing that me and my wife put on. It's like, wow.
It's
But
beautiful.
at the end of it, there was someone that, okay, no specifics, but there was a person not directly involved with us, but someone who was, associated with, certain aspects, not directly through us, who literally had this bad vibe and just transmitted it to me right at the end. Right. And it was like very, very, and I could feel it. And I'll be honest, like I didn't necessarily, because I wasn't totally conscious. I was exhausted. I just done the show, da, da, da. And that people can transmit, they, even if they themselves consciously don't know, they can bring these energies and forces. They're just like a vehicle for that, right? Many people, I mean, they're half possessed, they're half hypnotized. So it's really, really important to be very conscious, that to realize what is you and what is coming in from you and what is triggering something in you that you're identifying with unnecessarily, right? My garage burned down. I don't know if I lost all my music equipment. I'm not sure about the insurance, but finally I said, you know what? I'm just gonna, if I did and my insurance isn't up to date and I screwed up, I did, I'm responsible, and then I'll just have to pay the cost, but I'm not gonna let some, yes, I'll feel the emotions, but I'm not going to let this guide my life, right? But it's very easy
You
to
can't.
trigger.
That's not going to undo the fire. It can't. Like, it won't help you in any way to feel that way. It's just crippling you, like you were saying before.
Yeah. And so the thing is that, just to specify, so a lot of this, when we go into the media and a lot of these events, um, and I'll tie this in briefly with the different levels of the trees on the different sort of dimensionalities of that, so we can see how they intersect, because we're looking at 4 different dimensions that are all integrated, but they're operating on different planes, right? So, um, if you can, just try to completely just get rid of all negative emotions, man. Just get rid of, any self-doubt, fear, get rid of, rage, blame, whatever it may be. If you can, if you decide to do that, you can. Okay. And it makes your life a lot easier. But right now is very important, because even the smallest triggers, right? I mean, more personal stuff, man. Where's my Crowleyan knife? No, no, but I shouldn't have done that. But basically, like, like, okay, when people disrespect me when I've done something, right? There's something like that will get me, right? Few things, right? Or someone cheats me with money. Like, you don't pay me. I do a show, especially in music. You don't pay me. Sometimes that will make me pretty miffed, right? But even that response, and every, sometimes, yeah, anger is important just as a defense to be aware, but you don't want to live in that. You don't want to hold on to past situations, but you have to watch that someone will, the trigger point, they won't know that, but you never know who is or what forces are operating through that person.
Right.
Right. So, and then the thing is, it's like a, well, like the coronavirus was supposed to be, right? Someone infects you, you go and infect other people. You're going to take that energy, right? And
Yeah.
these are some levels on how these things work, right? So you could say there's a spiritual level, there's also a scientific level, psychological, emotional, right? So that's why, go ahead. Yep.
The cortisol in monkeys, they've studied the cortisol levels of stress in monkeys, and monkeys live in a hierarchical alpha, beta, type of situation. The alpha has no stress. All the betas and ones under have, like, the ones all the way under have the most stress, because they're always getting beat up by all the other monkeys, so they live in this fear and stress, and then they just want to please the higher up on the hierarchy. It's like, it's whoa, if you really look into that, the cortisol levels in monkeys, so like that is studied in other species too, and obviously it's applied to human psychology. Why would they be studying monkeys if they don't want to know about humans? So like that right there is very important. That type of, like, the lower monkey takes the abuse and then goes and kicks the dog lower down than him, to like, and then that like shit rolls downhill. You know what I mean? It's just like, but the alpha doesn't have to deal with any of that. He gets to eat all the food, he gets to bang all the women, and, like, just
Sounds like me.
Yeah, right.
No, not really.
Well, obviously.
No, that's a great. I didn't know that. That's so cool, Sean. Yeah,
No,
that's
it's important to like
yeah.
recognize that that we as the humans and the human animal biology that we have, that is natural, that we feel like the cortisol builds from that. I mean, and that's like it's a marker that science can use to measure the amount of stress, so it's like cause and effect right there, and the scientists can see it. So like that's when these rich controllers or whatever, I guess, do these type of events like the one here in 1933 I'm sharing. Those here, let's see, I guess it doesn't really get any bigger than that.
Well, yeah. Just, before we play that, so no, what you said is very important, and the reason I'm kind of harping on stress, the reason is that it is because it is like I said the story before, when I was attacked by this whole village and they're all trying to kill me with weapons, and I have not posted the video of that. I probably should, but when that happened, like that's also, I realized, well, this is why you have your stress hormone, is if you're facing imminent death. But
Yes.
what it does, it takes all the resources away from your frontal cortex, from all your other types of emotional experiences. You're not going to able to either access, deeper emotional or richer experiences. Also, though, you are going to be very vulnerable because, in a sense, all of your awareness and everything is like front loaded. Things can become coming behind, or else you're, in a sense, you're unconscious, right? And so it also eventually it damages the brain because of the cortisol, but it really puts you in a very, it's, well, I mean, just think about it. I mean, it's, kind of a no brainer, but you see people like they're driving to work, they're like, road rage, like all their energy is just put into this little box. What are they aware of? Only extremely limited things they're going to notice around in their environment. Okay.
Yeah, right.
They're very easily controlled. And then also, though, you don't have access to some more subtle awareness, which would maybe allow you not to things that may actually be dangerous. You'll step right into it because you're not going to notice. Or you just people just block it out. So they're living at 10%. So what I'm saying is that it is a major vector because it shuts down a lot of other activity and just, way limits your power, but also it's all your resources are going just to this immediate survival. But if you're just, if you have a report due for your office or whatever it may be, I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? Like if it becomes a habitual state, and then what you have is, our brain's neuroplasticity means that you're building a route in your brain, right? You're building a route in your nervous system. And that route is it's like, you take the
Wires
shortcut
together, fires together.
Yep. And it gets deeper and deeper and thicker and thicker. And pretty soon you can't get out of it. And your conscious mind, your willpower you lose eventually you lose your willpower. You lose your freedom of action. And this is the thing,
That's what they want.
Yes.
Right? That's the final goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you lose your willpower, then you just walk right into the fires of Moloch, whatever, because someone programmed you to, and you're a robot, okay, not you, but anyway, so here we go. We played this a long time ago. We'll play it again. This is 1933, a ritual, and it's the not the Torah Jews. These people are Talmud, Babylon type Jews that are doing a ritual sacrifice of a baby to Molech, right?
At Chicago, the stadium, right?
Right.
Yeah, so in Chicago. And so this is one of these examples, which after you play this video, I'll just go through the four Sephirot. So go for it.
Okay. Can you hear that? Did you hear that?
I can't hear the sound.
Okay, you can't hear the sound. Shit. Oh, 1 second. I got it. here, wait. Actually,
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Did you do an audio version of this too, right? So yeah, I'll describe it because this is like, I mean, just to say like, so these are ritual workings that also enter into the public consciousness, right? And this was 1933 was a very, very, very important date, right? And so yeah, let's go ahead and start that over again. So
okay, we'll start it over again.
Yep.
All right.
So
yeah, at least, I mean, if it was live, then we'd have trouble, but here, 1 second. Okay. Chicago, Illinois. 125,000 See Jewish Historical Pageant. Large arena, many, many people. Thousands of people. They wheel in the brazen bull. This is where the child sacrifice takes place. All of the maidens act like they're pulling the chains, bringing this bull into place. It will have a fire inside, and there is a door in its stomach where the baby is placed to be sacrificed. There's its face breathing fire. Okay, they're dancing. All the people, thousands and thousands of people. Now there's fireworks coming out of the nose of the brazen bull, and its eyes are lit up as they do the ceremonial ritual. Now it's nighttime, and all the people have gathered. The people on stage are dancing in unison. There is a hierophant priest addressing the crowd. Okay, a new day. This is the performance, waving the Jewish flags, Israel flag or whatever. People dancing around, giddy and jolly. There's the Moloch. It's spitting fireworks out of its nose and mouth. There's the baby being placed into the chamber. Everyone screams, "Ah!" There goes the baby. Human sacrifice on display. Everybody's happy about it. Dancing. And that's it. A new day. A new day dawns. So I know you didn't hear that, Hans, but sorry everybody about all the technical stuff. But it says a new day dawns, filled with peace or something, and so there's a lot of dancers, and this is at a huge arena, and these dancers are all dancing, rejoicing, and there is a huge brazen bull, the metal bull of the Moloch sacrifice, was spraying out fireworks. So like the fire is lit inside of this thing, and then they take the effigy, I'm assuming, of a baby. There's this high priest walks up these stairs, and he drops the baby into the chamber inside of the brazen bull, and everybody screams, "Ah!" And then they start dancing. So this is to commemorate the a new dawn of a new day or whatever, for their solar cult of Moloch and Baal. The Baal is the male consort of Tanit, and we talked about Tanit and those the Tophets of Carthage and the Phoenicians, and how they would burn babies to their deity, and they would take the ashes and arrange them in little urns and bury them under these stelae that have markings of Baal and Tanit. So this is what this is. This is a displayed for all to see, and it's a big event. What do you say about this, Hans?
Well, yeah. So this, and just so people understand, this is not something you're gonna. Millions of people saw this because this was a newsreel. So everybody, and in the main entertainment form, right? This is basically 1933. You don't really have television, right? Everyone is going to the movie theater. This is on the newsreel cycle, right? So you're going to watch whatever, not Lawrence Welk, whatever you're going to watch, Bing
Well,
Crosby, Bing,
right,
Bing,
right,
Bing Crosby, and then you're going to watch this. There'll be some newsreel clips, right? All over the country.
right.
So millions of people saw this, and this was booked as an entertainment, but it's actually look and the guy that very weird, tall, pointy hat, right?
Yeah, it's phallus, right?
Yeah,
It's
and
the
these are
bull,
specific magic.
phallus
These are
of the bull. Yeah,
yeah, but these are also connected with types of ritual magic. And it's right there in your face, though, right? With the
right.
crazed dancing. But a lot of things happened in 1933, and this is really the opening of the New World Order. Okay. This is very specific date. And so this is an example of these types of sort of workings in terms of the Qliphoth, right? So this is, and you could see like that's almost like that's a human sacrifice. It may very
Yeah.
well have been a living baby. Who knows, man?
Right,
I mean,
right. Who are we to know? And I mean,
formerly living baby, now a dead baby.
yeah, right. So like this, yeah, this thing consumes the child, and child sacrifice, the like eating of life, the life force energy is. I mean, that is the old religion. This is what Passio talks about. This is, Mark Passio talks about like the old religion that are running Satanism, modern Satanism. They take their orders from these people. uh,
Yeah, and so in a sense, this is like we'll probably retouch on a number of different things some of which we touched on before, but in a sense, like so when you watch this, unless you react to it as like, wow, this is a dark occult ritual showing a human sacrifice, whether or not it's real, it may, but it is they're directly saying in their face, B, they are making you a tacit participant in the event. You are participating in it, and they're invoking these energies collectively, right? And so this happens a lot, and we've talked.
Right, that's the main mechanism, right? I mean, that's what they do, the Super Bowl and all this, right?
Music videos, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And so just to clarify a bit about these levels, so we have just for refresher, so the Kabbalah, you have the tree of life, and the one thing about Kabbalah is that, or however it's spelled, and every way it's spelled has a very important meaning. It relates to letter magic, number magic. There are many ancient wisdoms that are encoded within Kabbalah, and it does offer a mechanism of both inner, potentially positive transformation, potentially not, but also a mechanism for the control of society, manipulation of people's consciousness, etc. So it's not just, there's lots and lots of things that are encoded in there. And the letter magic and number magic, once you start to see it, and I don't think we'll get to the whole numerology thing I started getting into with all these different dates, but these things are everywhere. And even in this, right, we see the 22, which relates to the shooter of Charlie Kirk, relates to when JFK was assassinated, so that date is on one plane. That number represents like the highest aspiration, right? The perfect manifestation. But if you're on the other side, if you're in the Qliphoth, the tree of death, that's the opposite for you, right? So, yeah, so that's the thing. And that's the inversionary factor force. And so basically in the tree of life, there's not one tree of life, there are four. And this also includes the Qliphoth. There are four Qliphoths that are operating in these different planes. The first one is the Absolute, which is emanation, the highest divine world. So that's like you could say like the spiritual dimension. Okay. Next one is Bria, creation, the world of initial substance. This goes into transmutation of matter, genetic modification, whatever you want to say, but creation, the world of initial substance. Then Yetza, the world of form. Okay, so you have the highest divine. Again, this is a separate, you could say this is a separate dimension. This is almost like a separate earth that's, they're all they're all in the like we talked about that Groundhog Day show. It's kind of like they're all here. It's just that these are just different frequency ranges, right, of perception. Okay, so Yetzirah, formation, the world of form, and then finally Asaya, action, the pre-physical and physical world. So these are the four different dimensions or layers of the trees of life, the four trees of life, and that also, of course, ties into the Qliphoth. And so you can look at the reason I played that is because of that video clip shows an interconnection of all these different four planes. Can you see that? So you have the highest divine world, or this is a actual magical ceremony, right? They're doing something with an actual spiritual or ritual function. Right.
I see what you're saying.
And then the creation. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So it is. It's a ritual for them, just like Marina Abramovich says. Oh, art is art, and magic is magic, and who knows? It's all the same, So this performance, and we know about that word from the performance episode that we did. This performance is it is a magic ritual for them, the ones acting. And for us, we don't know. For us, it's just a performance. And so it's on many layers. It's just a spectacle, but it's also ritual magic. And if we're not aware, then we are participating and our energy is going into it. And you were talking about numbers. This clip that you sent from Getty Images, the moment 33 seconds is when he puts the baby in the oven.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean,
this they edited that on purpose. Yeah.
This was a newsreel. It's 57 seconds, 5-7, right? But okay, so just to break it down, just based on this video, and so in a certain way we can apply. At least that's why I think I got like 80 pages of notes here. Just by applying this, because I was actually trying to figure this out, kind of like how these things are interconnected. How do you tie in, a movie with the real event? How do you tie in, some of these ritual things and things that happen? How do you tie in, et cetera, et cetera? So just to break it down just with this clip, because again, I think it was very important. And if you just look at everything that happened in 1933, then you'll see also. But so the first one, okay, highest divine world. The next one, Bria, creation, the world of initial substance. What does that mean? They are bringing into manifestation. This is a manifestational practice, right? So you're creating something, you're pulling it down, you're bringing it into the world, right? So it's that formless in the form. It's like, like a, I don't know, the power of the secret or something, right? So in a sense, the secret, even though most of this stuff, like the power of now is the power of lick my balls. What a bunch of crap that is. I'm sorry. Excuse me, you can edit that out.
But what you really feel.
No, I'm sorry. No, that really, no, this stuff irritates because people the amount of damage done to people that get caught in this stuff when you see, oh, that makes sense. And yes, there are things that are expressed that are true, like, but the actual, what the disinformation is doing is going to completely put you on the wrong track. And it can actually put you into this state of permanent cognitive dissonance, of a type of dissociative psychic state, also make you think this and that, or, you know what I mean? So it really affects people that they're not able to enter into the real present, right? And you can't, because you have the wrong conceptual model, and these clowns are telling you. So the secret, in a sense, is the manifestational magic for chumps who will never, you're not going to manifest anything. Oprah Winfrey. Oh, well, I'm rich because I just have positive thinking. she said that, in her shows, Oprah. But
it's not because she like scraped out her uterus with a coat hanger and works for the Satanists,
no,
revealing all of their satanic panic crap. Of course not. No, it's not.
So, but the world of initial substance is also the plane of the formation of the homunculus also. So this same thing goes through the formation of the homunculus.
Right. And that's what Crowley was doing.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. And then so Yetzirah, the world of form, right? So you have a ritual working, you have the intentionality of what you want to bring from this magical ritual into, from this sort of, you could say like the sort of the I don't know, the non-form sort of creative space, right? Just, if anybody,
the causal realm.
The causal realm. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Right. And then you have the world of form. Well, that world of form is what we saw in the video, right? So that's the world of form. And then you have action, the pre-physical and physical world. So this is number one, the actions that's taking place on the consciousness of the people watching it. Number two, which we won't go into, is look at all the things that happened during that year of 1933 and how it changed the world and how this was the announcement of the New World Order. This is when the New World Order was announced, right? So you can see right in this example how these four things intersect, right? And how, that's why it gets very, it is also deliberately complex. B, this knowledge almost was never really written down. It was always taught, face to face. It was kept secret. It was just memorized, right? So again, this is Jacob's ladder, and the Jacob's ladder, the soul's ascent and descent through these four worlds. So the soul, if you are trapped in the world of form, or even if so in the world of form, there's still, you can still have agency and you can still act and you can still, you're still there. But if you're stuck on all these need to be integrated, right? But if you're stuck in the pre-physical, which means, well, you're programmed, you're a slave, you're like a robot zombie, right? If you're stuck in one of these levels, which a lot of people I think are, and that's why I started talking about stress, right? Because if you got that, you're getting stuck down in that very low level, which makes all these other things you're totally unconscious of. And you're just like, hey, just go ahead and program me, man. Here, all right. And then, and then one last thing I'll just say on this is that in the two trees in Eden, so they say there was the tree of life and then there was a tree of knowledge of good and evil. Actually, that's the Qliphoth tree. So both there.
Right.
So
that's why the dark occult reveres it so much, because knowledge is what they want. And to find good and evil is when you actually do the immoral act and your conscience reacts to that and is like, hey, that was wrong. It's like the finding of good and evil is when you actually do the psychopathic act, right? And then if you can train yourself to not have those, and to be a psychopath and not have those emotions and thoughts anymore, then you're freeing yourself and you're able to do, whatever your will, and you become master of your own world because you can do this evil and not be held down by your conscience or your humanity. It's, I don't know, it's a weird psychology that they have. But so where do we want to go from here? But we've got, so I was looking at, like, before you have some stuff here. We like, I guess the links started with the Nas X. Do you want to
yeah. So I mean, and so what we can do is did you get that the one with like example with that the devourers? It's at with the husks, like it related to basically like sort of this sort of a cashless society or one world government. Did you get that graphic?
Well, the one with the Qliphoth tree, the black dots.
That one didn't come through. There's one with, it has like a tan background. Did you get that?
Wait, how about this here?
That one is a little bit. Yeah, that one is not quite up to snuff.
Okay.
They're after me.
Zoom in if you.
Yeah, you can't really read it, but I mean, this is just an example. Unfortunately, the text got cut off on that. But this
I
is
see.
showing how these types of stages or layers of current events can be mapped and modeled, including actions, right? We're doing the shows with William. Look at Manchurian Candidate, right? What is that? That's also, you have the ritual elements, but you also have the film is sort of like the realm of unmanifest, right? It's a creative space, and then it comes
Yes.
into reality, right? So
Yeah,
that's,
it programs the mind to have that fear and be in that moment with, it's very powerful. And so, like, these music videos are little films, right? They're doing the same thing, just with shorter attention spans, I guess. Doja Cat with her Demons video, and Lil Nas X with his Satan twerking video. Like, Jesus. And like, oh, it's funny, the Rolling Stone, can you see this? Like, I scroll down as it shows Lil Nas X licking Satan's ear, and then there's Trump's eyes watching. Like, you see that? Trump's eyes are lit with red light, as if it's like he's watching Lil Nas X do that. Like, Rolling Stone made this website do this. When you scroll down, it brings the box. Holy crap, dude.
and you see that the Trump is fearless reporting, and Trump is just watching it. Look at that from the edge.
Oh my God, dude. Subscribe.
A cultural, so this is what I'm saying, is that, so in order to, this stuff is a bit abstract, but it's also concrete, right? So it's kind of a little bit hard to wrap, because we're not really looking at a cultural force that transcends generations.
Dude, whoa.
Yeah,
what?
Wow.
By providing your information, you agree to terms, dude. No. Okay. Well, so this is what Rolling Stone has for us.
It is, once you start to learn about this stuff, it is definitely very easy to get freaked out, because it is pretty freaky, man. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You want to be, as much as possible, especially in this time, to be able to be really clear what you're actually experiencing, what is being activated in yourself. We can't, obviously you can't control everything, at, in your life, but still, like, where the heck is this? I'm sorry. Okay, well, I'll bring that up later. I have like a model, like how you can map different types of events or different types of media spectacles onto this modeling. And then especially with, we had discussed like the 4-layer thing, but I hadn't really, articulated it. And then when you look, it does get super complicated, because you're really looking at all these interconnections of different lines leading from one place to another, or one place to another, different level of manifestation, or different. The perfect example, that photograph, that is an example of, that is put there deliberately, right? That is not just, with the Trump looking at Nas X licking Satan's ear.
Oh, right. Yes, exactly. The Trump thing. Yep. Because here, we'll go back to that. Here, I'll find it again. Let's see if it gives us. I'll refresh. Oh, there he is. There's Trump's eyes. Oh, here, I'll refresh it. So
maybe they're
okay.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Well, at least we got a video, man. They took it away. I swear to God. Okay. No, like I said, normally, sometimes, you do actually get internet interference sometimes, occasionally, right?
Could be my cookies be like, oh, it already showed me this, so like it doesn't.
I don't know, man. It's like sometimes people have shows like, man, they're on to me. I'm getting a lot of mic noise. No, you just have a shitty setup. It's like, but
I'll admit to that. My friggin' internet setup is pretty bad. But it's free. At least I don't have Zoom. I'm not paying. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, you get it's good.
I recognize my own limits and my limits and my abilities when you say those things. I'm like, oh, me too. Yeah. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So let me just I'll just go over just to just the different spheres. I said that there's multiple interpretations of this, and we can kind of go through the the music. And so this is why, though, just to understand, right? The dates, times, colors, when and why it's released, and also the different degrees of coverage, right? So we know there's that one article about Astroworld, which is an academic thing. Actually, it looks like it's written by some Islamic people that they're breaking it down, right? And that's pretty interesting. But then you look at all these other portrayals, right, of that satanic conspiracy theories. Yep, literally, there we go. Viral
Astroworld
misinformation.
disaster. Yep.
How
Don't look
digital
here, guys.
natives. What digital natives?
How is anybody a digital native? That's our straw man is the digital native, right? Okay, so high schoolers, they're all being programmed by this. You know, they're all meant to cry. And the 8 people flooded TikTok. Okay, the crush killed 8 people. And despite its absurdity, the theory has steadily gained traction.
Just go back up a little bit
of the concert.
Read that.
Oh, you want to read the?
Yeah, just this is a quote. So, but notice, so this is, and we'll just go back up to that picture real quick, just to, these are all my secrets. I'm giving them away. But so this is how you start to understand. So even this picture, which, I don't really look at, but look, even this picture, that's shot in a particular way. High schoolers at a makeshift thing. You got that snake. It looks like the serpent, the golden serpent, right?
Yeah. Yep. S, there's a big gold S hanging. And why would that be? What? Oh, maybe one of the victim was named with an S,
but it's still, not to go through
the
it, but
American flag is there with a star. Oh man, American flag balloon. Of course, they gotta program that statism in there. Feel bad. Oh, America will save you. Oh.
What's that thing in the middle? That's probably just a light from the airport, right? But you see that light almost.
Right, yeah, there's a light in the background. Yep.
Yeah.
It's over like a bunch of tents. It looks like maybe is that where this is where Astroworld
this is where it happened.
Held.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So, someone else can do the analysis, but I'm saying a lot of these things, because again, just like in a film, like in subliminal advertising, your subconscious sees everything, right? Your subconscious sees the 25th frame in the film. But I think just go back up a little bit. So what this is doing is it's saying, I guess they're probably going to talk about me, conspiracy theorist. Yeah, I remember.
Well, it's, not a theory. It's we're looking at evidence here.
Okay. And this is like a quote. This ain't a festival. It's a sacrifice. Reads one typical comment. So this ain't a festival. So
typical. It's not a specific comment. It's just like, oh, it's kind of what they're saying. Yeah. Please.
So obviously it's not, is that a real comment? We don't know, but for the valence, for the people that this is directed towards, these guys look at these nut jobs, right? And this is some kind of, deplorable redneck. This ain't a festival. It's a sacrifice.
How crazy they must be.
Right. The music industry is demonic and collects souls, which reads another comment with 34,000 likes. See, notice the numerology. 34,000.
Be afraid of the amount of, like, there's this part of 12 Monkeys where the main character was asking to use a phone, but he was in the mental hospital, and Brad Pitt's character was telling him, they're not going to give you a phone. They're not going to let you broadcast your crazy out to the world, right? And this is telling us how scary it is that 34,000 people believe this. It's not allowed. This is not allowed thinking, and 34,000 are going along with this not allowed thinking. Like this fear that they are thinking wrong. Now there's a fear. Can't let that crazy get out on the internet. We better put a stop to that. Right. So this okay, go ahead. Sorry, digital natives. I was gonna say, but go ahead.
Okay, and it was, I was just looking up the numerology. Creativity, hard work, and highest spiritual potential. Your hard work is paying off. That's okay. That's maybe that doesn't have any, but still, I look at these little detail things. We just go a little bit slower through that. So just notice. I'm sorry if you don't mind going back up. Just like we just go through this little article.
It's fine.
So So again, so what this is doing though, this is creating a shell of, that you, if, maybe I might allow myself to think that something is off, but I'm not like one of these crazies. I'm a normal
Oh,
person. I'm part of
right.
society. This is, so it's, and this is from, so this is, you know what I mean? So you want to be part of the collective, right? You want to be, and so even if you think that, you're going to suppress that. You may even block it from your conscious mind.
Right.
And so then, but notice like the language, despite its absurdity. Well, is it really that absurd, guys? Maybe
We're told it should. We're told it is by this.
You,
They're
you can go ahead
telling
and
us
read.
to
Why
think
don't you
Okay.
read that?
Despite its absurdity, the theory has steadily gained traction with phrases such as Astroworld demonic and Astroworld Illuminati and Astroworld upside down cross trending among other Astroworld content on the platform. So actually the stage was an upside down cross. Like, I mean, what are you going to deny that? Like, what the hell? Illuminati, and that we know that's the catch-all term for you're crazy if you think Illuminati. Nobody's illumined around here. We're all just a bunch of, dark holes of heads. We don't have anything inside. And then this demonic, I mean, come on, don't you think it makes sense? The logo, I mean, everybody had to walk through his open mouth to get into this thing, and it's like he's swallowing them up. Like, I mean, come on. How? I guess you don't have to think that's demonic, but to me it is. I don't know. Like,
But notice the valencing of that. So when you read that, they said Astroworld upside down cross. I saw that. That's a conspiracy theory. That fact is now, within this context, is now become misinformation, right? Disinformation, misinformation. So next paragraph. Experts.
Experts. I love you, Hans, dude. This is right. Okay. Experts say the viral misinformation illustrates how young social media users are increasingly susceptible to fringe conspiracy theories, despite their reputation as savvy digital natives.
And that's a weird, what is a digital native? I mean, if you're a digital native, I mean, it's like, what?
It's like Tron when you're in the machine and
savvy digital natives. Well, let's go ahead. Yeah, go and play that video clip.
Okay, I'll play this. Let's see if the audio might not come through here. Let's see.
Somebody in the tree, turn the lights on. Turn the lights on, turn the lights on. Make some noise, small boy right there, hanging in the tree right there. That's okay with you real quick. Chase me, let's do it.
There are some people who were just laughing at those of us who were like screaming to get out because they thought it was funny, and they're not realizing that this is terror. We're trying to get out of here. The crowd didn't start out that packed. There was space. We didn't sign up to come here for this.
I was seeing two bodies laying down right behind me, and the whole time I was just thinking that they were passed out. And then once the security guard was just right next to me talking to another security guard saying that he didn't have a pulse, and that's when I knew something was really off.
Hold on, don't touch him, don't touch him. Everybody just back up. Security, somebody help jump in real quick. Keep going, just keep it this way. Somebody jump in, come on, security. I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening. I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. My fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience. And anytime I can make out anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need, I could just never imagine the severity of the situation.
So,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
guess that's
So
the end of that. But
yeah.
he kept touching his crown, or no, his third eye chakra.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is significant, but
And so, of course there is with all this stuff, I mean, there is, couple things, to be wary of. But then also, it's that's the importance of sort of balance, discernment. One of them being that you just, everything, my God, it's everywhere, but there is a lot of it for sure. Right. So you don't need to go overboard, but right. Just in what we've looked at, we can already see this media conditioning programming, how this is also operating on a different plane, as well as the actual ritual, just the ritual itself. And the portrayal is, what I mean? So that's a different dimensionality of the actual event, right? So the actual event where it's taking place, and there, you cycle it back up to the sort of the unmanifest plane, right? And that's where they kind of tweak it. If that,
I see.
does
Yeah,
that
they
make sense?
the reporting brings it back into the causal plane for other minds, and then that is the cause for their actions and reactions or whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so that
It's like a feedback loop. It's like empowering itself furthermore as it goes along, right?
yeah. And so basically, like so we see this media. So we have basically the. Let me just go through the Tree of Life shells. We can continue, and we'll go maybe hit that
Okay.
other article on the astral world, just because again, it's important also to recognize that these, we are in a place. Obviously, like when I do a show, man, it's like it's just like rock and roll, man. So, but so just to see, and so, and this is, obviously there's no way we're going to, unless I really talk fast, which I may talk fast anyways, but there's no way
There's a lot
to
to this.
condense this because when I really finally, I've been trying to figure out a way to map all these events and how this has actually been like, I mean, not this particular, this Qliphoth stuff, but this whole thing with all the media and all these other things and events and social changes and transformations. So you can see how, like, I've got what's like amazing, right? This, and I may include this here, and I'm doing that article for Brett, with his journal, his magazine. But
Right,
Frank
Brett
Zappa.
Carollo.
So what is
Yeah.
super wild? Just an example: Frank Zappa's album "Freak Out." Right. So "Freak Out," that album came out a year before Sgt. Pepper's in June 1966. It was recorded in March 1966. It is one of the most abrasive psychedelic albums ever recorded. It's not considered a psychedelic album, but they're talking about the whole, he's literally foreshadowing the entire hippie movement and all these other aspects and conflicts. And this album came out, it was actually recorded in the studio of a former IDF soldier, by the way, in LA. But the album came out, Freak Out, The Mothers of Invention, with on Verve Records, which is a pretty high, this actually I'll go back into this just to say how things enter the consciousness on one plane and then manifest in another one, and how to tie all this stuff together. But I think with this model, these different polarities and different spheres, it gives a way, an entry point to kind of understand this stuff. And I'm sure you could even tie this into specific types of biological functioning, food additives, this and that, all these actual events, films, political events, foreshadowing the East Palestine train derailment, foreshadowing the Gaza war, right? With Obama in the middle, with, leave the world behind, all this stuff, right? So
Right.
this shows like a triad of these things. And then also how just just to mention that part of this is that people can be stuck in different planes, or or by choice, they choose it's comfortable here. You know what I mean? So that article on Astroworld is for people that they feel really uncomfortable, man, in this upside down cross. Oh, they said it wasn't there, even but just to review I'll just give a quick kind of overview. So all of these, the husks or the shells, are actually the degradation of the spirit, but also the degradation of the world, but also will feed those who ascend to their domination, and I'm not saying just any particular group of people, but this sort of elite operational procedure that you funnel humanity, you feed off of their energies also, and you're doing this transformation and working, and you're trying to subvert the whole flow of nature and reality according to your measure, and then you get people to participate. And it's quite a complex, it's a multi-layered process, but I always thought there's got to be some organizational principle. How do you know what I mean? And I think I may have kind of hit it. It is, it gets rather complicated, but just to go through this real quick. Okay. Yeah. So we go through, I could start from the bottom or the top, but just to look at these spears, right? So we have, Namoth, right? 10, the shadow of Malkuth, kingdom becomes husk, materialism, dead shells. The kingdom of God becomes the husk of the true spiritual essence of mankind, right? This is the entry to the tree of death, right? And so, we can say examples of this: consumerism, environmental decay, planet as a corpse being consumed. This is also cannibalism, right? Housing crisis, zombification of culture. People glued to screens. They become an empty shell, right? Looking at your phone all the time. You're stuck in your social media. You are entering into this processing, this occult processing. Okay. Number 9 is Gamaliel, polluted foundation, obscene dreams, shadow of Yesod. Foundation becomes fantasy, distorted sexuality, illusions. Okay. And then, so contemporary reflections, virtual reality, metaverse fantasies, pornography, internet economies. You could say like QAnon, and also types of, unreality, conspiratorial dreamscapes. So the talk. So, so I'm going through number 9. And so before, when we went through the Qliphoth, I went through a much more sort of detailed, but this is sort of a breakdown of applicability to specific domains, right? We say culture, politics, current events, mass media, right? Whatever. So again, I'm in number 9. So shadow of Yesod. So in Namath, the corpse eaters, the whisperers, the kingdom becomes husk, right? The kingdom of your body. This also relates to the physical body, right? This relates the crown chakra, the chakras, your feet, your embodiment, and the kingdom of heaven on earth, or the kingdom of Shaitan on earth, right? So that's the that thing. So it's important, right? These are the shadow spears. Again, so I was on the second one, or 9th one, is foundation, because so you go into fantasy, illusions, TikToking, all this stuff, right? People, all this self distortion, the way people, the influencers, how people just go nuts with that stuff, right? I mean, they feed into this, and they live. There was a interesting documentary about this girl with her new husband, was an influencer. He killed her, right? He murdered her. They were doing like some van life podcast. And you see, it's on Netflix. Yeah. And so she's living this fantasy. He's treating her like crap, beating her up. Man, that was too violent. Erase that. No.
I remember.
Okay. Yeah, but
okay. So here we go. Share this tab. How about this?
Perfect. That's exactly. Yep. That's what I wanted. Okay. So that gives it a little more of a. Yep. So Lilith,
that's where you started. That's the entry into, right. So we can imagine this is upside down, really. Like Malkuth is the top of this one. And as we progress up this, it's actually going down, like further away from the oneness of creation, right?
Yeah, and so just so it doesn't get, the one thing is that, just to understand is that there's different inversions of these spears, right? So, and I may have, made some, but anyways, Gamael. So we're talking about a polluted foundation, obscene dreams, virtual reality, metaverse. Okay. And then we can go up to, Samael.
Arab Ser.
So let's look
Samael.
at Samael.
Okay, Samael's on the right. Yep.
Yeah. So Samael, shadow of hell. Splendor turns into toxic. Shadow of Hod. I mean, so Hod is like a spirit of splendor, right? Should be divine splendor. What that becomes, toxic, deception, intellect, deep fake, pseudo experts, financial technology. You can think of that even like, you try to call the customer service and you have to go through the AI menu, right? Or, you know what I mean? So all this stuff, and the censorship, right? So in the Samael, we could see that operating in that thing we just looked at, right? With that, they're talking about Astroworld, right?
Right. Totally lying at us. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory. You're crazy. And the mass shootings are all lies, right? So, and you were just saying there was just another mass shooting the other day in the golf course.
Yeah. And then we have a Harab Serapal. So ravens of dispersion, weaponized desire. This is also connected with the throat chakra. And so this is like PR, fashion. Basically this is, this is
the glamour
distorting this. Go ahead.
The glamour, like to
this is a glamour. This is the glamour. This is the glamour. This is the glamour, right? This is the, yep. And then we have, Tagaron, the false sun. Okay. But that's, so in a sense, the one before they're interconnected, right? They feed into, so you have the Samael, the Hershai going into the Tagaron, right? The false sun. So these energies, they fuse, right? You create sort of a synth, like think of the dialectic, right? Thesis, antithesis, and antithesis, and then synthesis, right? So you know what I mean? So you're combining these. So Tagaron, disorder, false sun, central sun. Okay, so that's
the opposite of the like on the Kabbalah tree. That's where the sun is, and this is the opposite, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah. This is the dark sun, the false sun, the Golbacha, right? The burning ones, destruction, Ohio train derailment, discipline, justice becomes cruelty, war, Gaza, Ukraine, police assassination, mob justice. Right now we're seeing, there's an article that I think is a Vigilant Citizen talking about the demonic response to the Charlie Kirk shooting, where people are saying he should have been lynched. There people are calling for violence. This is literally entering the sphere of the burning ones, right?
Yeah.
So this should be the sphere of discipline and justice, right? But
I see exactly the opposite. You're right. And that's why, I mean, everybody's all like, oh, you can spot them by their mirrored world and everything they do is the mirrored opposite. And like, this is explaining all of that. This is like, obviously they're doing it is the exact mirror of what it's supposed to be. And that is the destruction of reality. If you can tell everybody that snow is black, then, something happens, some ghosts are attacking.
There's something. That's okay. No, not burning. No. I just had that a little bit.
But anyway,
but just to show that in a sense, okay, at least using my new modeling, which I have not figured out how to do it in a super way that's not insanely complex, is that you have movie, film, cinema, actual events, and they all tie in together. But remember, we started out talking about the 4 different layers, right, from that ritual. So, and then the next one, Tagaron, death, the disputers, false sun. So this is beauty and balance inverted into false glory, cult of ego, celebrity worshipers, influencers, political messianism like Modi, Zelensky, entertainment, superhero movies. So, right. So that's all there.
Right. Charlie was a superhero, and they're painting him as that. I think he was a regular guy that was thinking, but I mean, they're putting him in that where he's the superhero and he's destroyed, and it's like the killing of the king type ritual. And so that is fueling the next part of the trail down. If you want to continue.
Yeah. No.
Oh, I didn't see. I'm looking at the thing. I'm not looking at the screen.
I just we can edit this. I had this incense. No, I lit an incense stick for the vibe or whatever, and somehow it fell and it was on the carpet. So definitely don't want to.
You don't want
another fire, man.
Dude, that fire demon is after you hard, man. It does not.
I know, man. What the fuck, dude? Dude. Okay. Anyways, so it's really interesting, right? And so, like I said, we can. Again, these are multivalent. It's a multiplicity of different things. I mean, people can go back to our earlier shows, and I went through all the different just diseases associated with this stuff. So we keep going. So where are we at? We went
from Phagirion to what's next? Do you want to go to Satrael?
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to talk about Satrael?
I don't know. It says here, Satrael concealment. Qatar attack. I mean, are you going to talk about like the real news that we're not seeing, like the mass shootings and like how the girl on the subway was stabbed in the neck that was like covered up for a while? Is that part of it?
Yeah. So it's the shadow of Bina. So understanding becomes obstruction, right? So you're blocked from understanding. You're blocked from
occultation,
occultation. Absolutely. This is the occultation. The process of occultation. You have so this understanding becomes obscuration, veils, and bureaucracy. Tech monopolies hiding inner workings of algorithms. Right? You don't know what's going on. You don't know who's doing what. Right? You don't know what you know what I mean. And think about that. It's very important. This concealment, bureaucratic overreach, surveillance. COVID. COVID is a great example. Right? COVID. Concealment, the Qatar attack is an example. That's concealment. When the Iran attack, they're doing, this is a total Satrael, right? When you're having a negotiation, you attack, right? So, and again,
right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So they attack the people that are doing the negotiating like twice now anyway, yeah, they want to keep killing the babies. Like, negotiations can't happen. That's not part of the plan. We got to bomb that crap. So, okay. So, Chezib, please pronounce that. What is that?
Yeah. And I think and I use some different models. So some of this, it's a little bit, there's, different names. So yeah, so that one, we're looking at the, pure force becomes, and this is more sort of media level, but, so obviously we can go deeper or more occult, but I'm just doing sort of related to concrete events or whatever. So distorted wisdom, chaos of thought, media information complex, disinformation wars, collapse of shared truth, endless contradictory feeds. So it's chaos of thought, right? Pure force becomes...
Is that Satriel still? Is that where we're at?
No. This is the next one.
Shagizeb. Shagizeb.
Yep.
Okay. So please continue. So that's the other side of the Satrael level. It's the other side of that same. I see. Yeah, because we got the pillar of mercy and the pillar of severity, and they're both working on the same. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And then so and so basically great example is also the the sort of the frenzied, so if you look at it, how they connect, right? You have concealment, obscuration, etc. Then you have chaotic force, frenzy of ideas, how they go together, Charlie Kirk assassination, right?
Yes.
Right. So, so for that one, so information torrent, fragments, attention, and cognition, right? And so people get completely lost into this stuff. And this also relates to the throat chakra, communication, and all these inversions, right? And then finally we have the Thamael, right? So this is, the unity of spirit becomes the shadow, the rule of Satan on earth, basically, right? It is the,
Right.
and rival sovereignties. And so this is and it creates, basically, you could say it's in a certain way, it's like the finally soul harvesting, but then also it means that this is the ascent of the final link in the chain of the one world system, so to speak. Yeah. So that's
the total enslavement of the world, basically, instead of Kether and the unity of our spark with the oneness of creation. It's trapping us completely in a separated cell, like the inner cube of the Tesseract. Like it's like full on slavery at that point where they're trapped for good, right?
and yeah, and that's which, we won't get into that today, but it's like, what is uploading your brain into the AI? What is this
Yeah.
Neuralink? What is Neuralink? What is this? This is exactly that, right? You are permanently trapped. You are now in this artificial sphere, and this is literally what is being planned. Whether or not it'll work, I don't think it's probably going to work, but it'll do a lot of damage on the way. And there's going to be a lot of people that will sign up for that, right? Is that not the global brain? Is that not the hive mind? Is that not uploading your consciousness, like living eternally through your digital replica? That's what they're talking about, like eternal life, the false eternal life, right? The eternal life through the uploading of consciousness. Yeah.
Can you imagine if that could do that? I mean, come on. It seems silly to me, but I guess like our body is a container of consciousness. So I don't know if through spiritual magic, but I mean, they've been trying to make a homunculus forever. Like, I don't know if it's even possible what they're doing.
But the thing is that, obviously they believe, right, that this can happen, right? Absolutely. I mean, look at all the,
so they're going to keep trying, whether it works or not. They're still doing the actions, right?
Yeah. And I've got a ton of, like stuff that, to support that in terms of, this. And so I know you probably have to go. Is it possible you could just look at that academic article real quick before we call it, or is that, are you out of time?
Yeah, let's see.
You just brought that up. So I had it. Now I can't find it, actually.
Yeah. I did have it up here. 1 second. So symbols and forms of Satanism represented in Travis Scott concert, Astro World Festival 2021. And the authors are Tazia Ramadina and Muhammad Husni Ritonga. Abstract. The purpose of this research is to depict the symbols and forms of Satanism in the Travis Scott concert. Due to riots that occurred during the concert a few months ago, 8 people were declared dead and hundreds of others were injured. However, many conspiracy theories emerged from netizens. I don't know what that word is. I'm sorry.
It's citizens of the net. That's, netizens.
Oh, I get you. All right. Who thought the concert? Yeah, digital natives, right? Who thought the concert was a ritual of human sacrifice, because many netizens saw elements of Satanism at the concert. As a result, the writer is intrigued by the images and shapes discovered by the researchers at this concert. The researcher will describe denotatively, connotatively, and mythically using Roland Bather's semiotics. Researchers discovered satanic symbols and forms in Travis Scott's Astro World Festival 2021 concert.
Okay, yeah, and so this is interesting. I assume we probably have to terminate.
I do kind of have to go. I'm sorry, listeners.
That's okay. Yeah, and so we can kind of look at this. And one thing to say though, just to be aware that, like, this idea of this monolithic, like, okay, all, Muslims are bad. Muslims are bad. But there's a lot of, knowledge and very powerful, spiritual forces within Islam still in various, strains and locations, right? So this is, and they know about this stuff, right? And they at least have a basis where they're more connected. So that's why it's kind of, it's interesting to see from that perspective, right? And you turn people against, like, anybody who's a Muslim is, whatever. And that's one of the reasons there has been a very strong war on destroying Islamic culture, right? I mean, there's room for all kinds of different beliefs or systems. So this is, it's it's an interesting article just because, they it's again from this sort of, you definitely from a, it's a described as like sort of an academic religious perspective where, of course it's not separate from like the religion and the, science is not necessarily separated in that way, but in fact, is it actually separated? We think it is, but then look what's being done to us in the name of secular humanity, right? I mean, so yeah, we can maybe next time we can just start with this, but it's quite interesting because they go through pretty detailed analysis of this, and they look at representation, the effect of music, representation, representation related to meaning, and how these affect approaches of meaning through language, reflective, intentional, and constructive. Okay, it gets into linguistics, but it shows how language is extremely powerful force for reality shaping, right? Consciousness shaping, reality shaping. So yeah, we can just leave it there. But I thought that was kind of an interesting article, especially in contrast with the other sort of piece. And go ahead.
Right. Well, this is just fascinating. I mean, I remember when it happened, and what we were all meant to think, and what the vibe of what was being pushed into us. And this is great that we have more information now. Looking back, there's people have done actual real study. It's not just some YouTubers, claiming stuff. This is like real documents. And I'm excited to look into this. I'm sorry, listeners, that I got to go do my regular job, and I can't just be here forever. But thank you to their one listener joined my Buy Me a Coffee to be a subscriber, and I'm so delighted. Thank you for doing so. I will. And anyway, please, everybody should visit hansutter.com. And there is a donate ability on there as well. He definitely needs some help with.
Except, actually, I think that's my old PayPal, so that will go to the ether.
Oh.
I have some links. I'll drop an email you can put in the show notes.
Give me the link, and I will put it under for everyone to click just below
Sure.
here in the description of this podcast. So please, everyone, visit the Resonant State. And it's broadcast on many of the podcast players, and you also do video of that, and you post that on your BitChute and Odyssey and Rumble, I think, as well. So I will have links to all of that as well. And thank you, listeners, for listening. And please look forward to further episodes. I know we're leaving you hanging, kind of, but we will keep going, and it does make sense as far as we've been so far, I think, and we will make more sense of this on future episodes. Thank you, Hans, for joining us.
Sure
Do you have
thing.
any other words to say?
So I have the YouTube. Actually, you'll find it. Still, I haven't changed the channel's name. Eyes Wide Open. Hans Utter Investigates on BitChute, Spotify, and various other sundry platforms, but primarily Spotify, YouTube, Resonant State, and then you'll find it on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, and YouTube. Just let me crack 10. I want to hit the double digits, man. I've gone viral. I'm at 9 views. I just need one more. So.
You're gonna break the glass ceiling, man. But your voice is a real gem. It's a diamond in the rough, and people will find it. The numbers will go up. It's great.
I'm not worried.
We're always very happy to have you here. My listeners love you, and we're glad that you're sharing this and unfolding this. Like, I know it's it's really discombobulated, and it's tough for me. In the other episodes we did in the past, it's like hard to really grasp it, and so it's helpful to keep revisiting this to really get a further understanding for all of us. So thank you.
Yeah, and I hope I'm trying to, like, again, one of this is the mystification. It now it is quite complex, but hopefully at least a little bit we touched upon to start to see how, and looking at the different layers of operation, how these things will manifest in different ways, right? Before we went through more hardcore type of things, as I mentioned, like types of disease or how you summon different demons from these different Sephiroth. But this is more almost on the day-to-day life level, right? You can see, oh, this is a Charlie Kirk shooting. This is how this is progressing with this type of thing,
Exactly.
distortion. And so, and it's not like, the one last thing just to say to clarify, it's not like, it's like, oh, this one event happens and then suddenly we're in, the schism, the thama. No, it's like, this is being done in multiplicities, and even a single event or interconnected event stream can go through that same process leading to that same final goal. Does that make sense? And so this is being done over all different types of spears over many, many years, sometimes more compressed, sometimes longer, but that's how at least I've been able to sort of map and model some of these interconnections, because otherwise it's like very confusing. Go that video we started out with, that I think that's like a moment, right? That's like a beginning of, I think, this current phase that we're in. So,
and each one we can see the stepwise progression. So like, as coronavirus happened, at first we hated our neighbors. You won't wear a mask. You won't let me in the building, And now it's like, I want you dead. You deserve to die. Like, I mean, it's a progression. We have gotten here now. Like, so we should be aware. And yeah, so if it's mapped on the tree, we can see where the progression is happening, and it's very interesting what you've discovered.
Yeah, and I just saw this article today, but check out that vigilant. Just give the name of the article real quick. I think it's just the latest. Is it on here? Yeah, there's something demonic happening in America. The assassination of Charlie Kirk was followed by an onslaught of celebrations, posts calling for violence. Stephen King, saying that he advocated stoning gays to death. Like, people are literally calling for physical violence. You can see direct progression of people's consciousness through this type of working, right? And you mentioned the coronavirus. I mean, could you imagine the peaceful, gentle left calling for this type of violence with someone who just got assassinated? I mean, we're seeing this stuff happen real time. And so that's what I wanted to stress, that it's coming, and, and so it's there, right? It's not, you don't have to make it up. I mean, people are becoming,
we just have to be aware, right? We just have to become aware.
I mean, people are celebrating his death. Witches, we paid Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk. I mean, all on and on. So yeah,
they were doing that in 2016 when Trump was getting elected. The witches were doing curses. Remember that shit? And there was all a big joke. But now, let's go.
But that's what I'm saying. Hopefully, again, some of it's abstract, but I think you can start to see. We looked at the 4 spears, right? You look at that ritual spear there, the ritual tree. Right, the ritual tree, the unmanifested form, etc. So, but all right, Sean, thank you so much, brother. It was awesome as always, and
yeah, likewise. Yes, much love, brother, and thank you for joining us, and thank you, listeners, for listening. We will see you on next time. I guess Hans and I are going to be talking with William again next week, hopefully. I think if things go well, and we're going to continue on the Manchurian Candidate. William is doing great work, and he's going to be on both of our shows, so people look out for that. And also the next part of this current Qliphoth revelation that will be soon on Wake the Dead. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon.